Hi, 10th graders. Welcome to week 3, lesson 11. Once again, my name is Mr. Benson. I'm excited to be your virtual teacher for today. For the joke of the day, why did the bubble skip school? Good question. He heard there was going to be a pop quiz. So you're probably wondering, what are we doing today? Here is the video you should be watching right now. Again, we're going to be reading Civil Peace, which is the text that you read yesterday for the first read. But today we're going to be engaging in the close read of the text and connect to the author's experience. And then when you go down to the lesson itself, lesson 11, you can remind yourself of all the materials you need for today's lesson. Our learning target for today is I can complete close read annotations to analyze how complex characters develop over the course of a text. So we're going to be looking at really just Jonathan, our main character, to see how he developed over the course of the text, Civil Peace. Let's quickly go over the read, think, talk, write protocol for today. For read, you're going to focus on rereading paragraph 4 of Civil Peace. You can read the whole thing again if you want to, but for today, you're going to focus on just paragraph 4 of Civil Peace. And you're going to use that paragraph to understand the author's use of specific words and phrases. And then you're going to complete the close read routine, which involves the annotate, question, and conclude. And you're going to specifically look for words and phrases related to luck or wonder. And for the think part, you're going to think about the question, why do references to luck and wonder appear so frequently? We're going to go over this a little bit later, but you have to really consider why does our author intentionally use words around luck and wonder? So for the talk part today, you're going to talk with a family member, caregiver, or friend about this question. Even in the aftermath of war, why do you believe Jonathan finds it important to remain positive? How might his attitude affect those around him? So you really got to think about Jonathan as a character and think, why may he remain so positive even after all the things he's gone through. Now for the writing section today, you got to think about our author. So our author, Chinua Achebe, was born into the Nigerian Igbo tribe and publicly supported the independence of the Biafra region. Then you have to answer this question. How might the author's personal experience and views be reflected in a civil piece? Do you believe Jonathan represents the author's stance in the story explained? So we learn here that the author, Chinua Achebe, was actually born into the Igbo tribe. And so this story is like somewhat about his life. Even though he is not Jonathan specifically, you have to figure out, based on what you know about the author and based on what you read in the text, if you feel like our author's personal experience may be reflected in the text Civil Peace, and if you feel like Jonathan is sort of representing our author's stance in the story. Then you're going to close out like you normally do. First, you're going to share your writing with someone else, and then you're going to read a book for at least 20 minutes, and you're going to document your reading on the reading log. And then you'll see this in your packet, but once you actually move past the lesson, you're going to see the note catcher, and it's really important to make sure you actually jot down your responses to the questions in the lesson in the spaces provided on the note catcher. So the quick model for today is going to be around the close read for Civil Peace. And if you go back to the read section, you can remind yourself that we're actually just looking at paragraph 4 today of Civil Peace. And after you're done engaging in the close read of paragraph 4, you're going to think about why do references to luck and wonder appear so frequently. So once you go to paragraph 4, you'll see in the margins the close read process is listed there. So first, the annotate part is in the paragraph to mark words and phrases related to luck or wonder, and I'll model this for you in a second. The question that you have to ask yourself, and you can even write down your thoughts if you want in the margins, why do references to luck and wonder appear so frequently? Like, why would our author intentionally include references to luck and wonder? And conclude, you have to think about what effect do these repeated references have, particularly on how readers see Jonathan. So without these repeated references to luck and wonder, how may the story be different? How may they see Jonathan differently? So what impact do these references have on the story as a whole, but really just on how readers see Jonathan? And you can actually write your answer in the blank space here. Okay, because the close read that you have to do involves paragraph 4, I didn't want to model for you today with paragraph 4 because then I'd be giving you all the answers. So instead, I'm going to engage in the close read process for paragraph 1 and paragraph 2. I'll go through the 3 steps, the annotate, the question, and the conclude, and then you'll be set up for success to do the exact same thing with paragraph 4 on your own. So let's get started with annotating paragraph 1. Jonathan Awigbu counted himself extraordinarily lucky. I'm going to underline that because clearly that's a reference to luck. It's right in the first sentence. Happy survival meant so much more to him than just a current fashion of greeting old friends in the first hazy days of peace. It went deep to his heart. He had come out of the war with 5 inestimable blessings: his head, his wife, Maria's head, and the heads of the 3 out of their 4 children. So I underlined inestimable blessings because, as you can see, he feels really blessed that the majority of his family survived the war. And to me, that's like a reference to luck or even wonder, like, how did he get so lucky type thing. Let's keep going. As a bonus, he also had his old bicycle, a miracle too, but naturally not to be compared to the safety of 5 human heads. So I underlined miracle. To me, oftentimes people wonder how miracles happen, and they feel incredibly lucky that a miracle happened to them. So I think that word is intentional, and I think it connects to the idea of luck or wonder, and I'm going to underline it. Let's keep reading. Start with paragraph 2. The bicycle had a little history of its own. One day at the height of the war, it was commandeered for urgent military action. Hard as its loss would have been to him, he would still have to let it go without a thought. Okay, I underline that even though it's in the middle of a sentence. I think the fact that he had to let his bicycle go without a thought means that he sort of believes in this idea that like everything happens for a reason. Like he has to trust the process and believe in like luck and wonder and fate because everything is going to work out, or it will work out in the way that it was supposed to work out. Let's keep going. Had he not had some doubts about the genuineness of the officer? It wasn't his disreputable rags, nor the toes peeping out of one blue and one brown canvas shoe, nor yet the 2 stars of his rank done obviously in a hurry in biro, that troubled Jonathan. Many good and heroic soldiers looked the same or worse. It was rather a certain lack of grip and firmness in his manner. So Jonathan, suspecting he might be amenable to influence, rummaged in his raffia bag and produced the 2 pounds with which he had been going to buy firewood, which his wife, Maria, retailed to camp officials for extra stockfish and cornmeal, and got his bicycle back. Okay, he's pretty resourceful. That's impressive. Let's keep reading. So far, nothing really in that part related to luck or wonder. That night, he buried it in a little clearing in the brush where the dead of the camp, including his own youngest son, were buried. When he dug it up again a year later after the surrender, all it needed was a little palm oil greasing. Nothing puzzles God, he said in wonder. So the word wonder is used there, and the expression that he often uses throughout the entire text that you'll see as you keep reading, and you've already seen when you read it the first time. Nothing puzzles God. This connects back to the thing we just underlined, let it go without a thought. He tends to just trust the process and believes that with God on his side, he has to trust what God has in his or her plan. And so he said it in wonder. He's just sort of like going along with the flow. So I finished the annotate part. I found quite a few words and even parts of sentences that relate to luck and wonder. Now I got to think about the question, why do references to luck and wonder appear so frequently? And I don't want to like answer it in full yet because paragraph 4 is really where you're supposed to do this. But you can think about it like we know a lot about our author right away by these words here, right? We know that this man is very religious. We also know that he believes he's a go with the flow kind of person. He believes in just trusting the process and letting things happen their natural course. And so if the author didn't use those words, maybe we wouldn't really understand that or internalize that as much about Jonathan, but those words actually help us do that. And then the conclude part, what effects do these repeated references have, particularly on how readers see Jonathan? And I'm not going to make a final conclusion here, but I sort of just alluded to that in the question part. We sort of see Jonathan as a pretty holy person and a person that really believes in his faith. And he doesn't question when things happen to him in life. He just sort of takes everything for what it is, and he just sees the positive in things because he realizes that things are outside of his control. So that is really just the process that I followed, as you can see for paragraph 1 and 2. And I think we found some really good information that will help you with paragraph 4. Speaking of paragraph 4, now it's your turn. I recommend reading paragraph 3 just to remind yourself what happens in the story, and then engage in a close read of paragraph 4 for civil peace. You can actually annotate directly in the packet like I did with my model, and then you should write your answers to the question to conclude part in the margins to the left of the text. Then after you finish that, don't forget to complete the talk and write part, and don't forget to write all of your answers on the note catcher. You should have a completed note catcher by the end of today's lesson. So tomorrow's lesson will be lesson 12, and the learning target is I can cite strong and thorough textual evidence to support analysis of what the text says explicitly, as well as inferences drawn from the text. So you're going to be asked to go back into civil peace, and you're going to have to pull out some strong textual evidence that will support you in a deeper analysis of the text. As always, thank you so much for learning with me today. It was a pleasure. A few quick reminders. Number 1, don't forget to talk about your lesson with someone. Number 2, read 20 minutes and complete a reading log entry. The reading log is at the front of your packet, so make sure you go back to the front of your packet to find the reading log. And number 3, practice reading fluency using the first or second page of your weekly reading. So if you forgot everything about fluency, that's okay. Go back to the front of your packet. There's directions there, and you can use your weekly reading for the fluency work. As always, email your teacher if you need any support. You should know their email by now, but in case you don't, this is an example of how an email would look in the district. It's just the first name, last name, @DetroitK12.org. Hope everyone has a great day, and remember, keep learning.